What's going on, YouTube people? Carolina Country Boy here, coming at you with a video about why I think a canoe is just the best boat to own. Stay tuned, guys. So the first thing we're going to talk about, guys, is affordability. Okay, there are a lot of different boats out there that you can find that are very affordable. I'm sure I'll get this argument in the comments quite a bit about why a canoe is not the best boat. And I'm going to just give you a ton of reasoning why I think a canoe is the best boat you can own, and why they're just boats you need to keep for decades and have it for your family and just have it in general for your lifetime, because they're just such great boats. The first thing, guys, is definitely affordability. When you look at high-end kayaks, even some of these high-end plastic boats they're coming out with now, you're looking to spend upwards to $2 to $3 grand just to get the base. Okay, not all the modifications, not all that other stuff. Just the kayak or the plastic thing itself is going to cost you $2 to $3 grand. Now, sure, you can go and get something used on Marketplace or find, you know, the Sun Dolphin kayaks you can sit on top of and fish out of. But the thing is, guys, those things, they're just not stable, in my honest opinion. They don't allow you to do the things that, you know, you should be able to do on the water, you know, whether that be catfishing or bass fishing or whatever you choose to do, inshore fishing. I just think that a canoe does that better, and it's way more affordable. Okay, I want to just talk a little bit about why I used to have a canoe and why I bought another one, just the one I'm sitting in right now, which will be modified and rigged for my specific needs. But you have to look at the cost. So this canoe back here, my family bought it for $300 10 years ago, which equates to about $450 in today's currency. You know, obviously adjusted for inflation, things are costing a little bit more and things are just selling for a lot more. This canoe I bought a couple months ago. It's just been sitting in the backyard. I bought this canoe for $500. Okay, nothing included, just the base, $500. And the reason I took the deal and I took it so quickly was because this model of canoe, they do not make anymore. This model of canoe is very, very good plastic, okay? It is very thick plastic. It is not made cheap. The canoe back here in the backyard, I put a solid 10 years of fishing into that boat. And it just doesn't always work out like you think it would. You know, sometimes it gets scuffs, it gets scratched up. I do a lot of rough stuff with the canoe, so, you know, the longevity aspect for that canoe didn't last me very long because I didn't take care of it. But yeah, guys, I spent $500 on this canoe. That one was given to me for free from my family. $300 they spent on that boat, sitting in the backyard, and I was just like, I'm gonna just start taking this thing out. And sure enough, just became one of the best fishing vessels I ever owned and didn't have to buy anything else for a very, very long time. So that's point number one. Point number two, guys, this is an easy one. Portability, okay? I can throw wheels on the back of this canoe and take it literally anywhere a kayak can go, okay? And the portability aspect is important because a lot of things you need a trailer, a lot of things you need to throw, you know, all kinds of different modifications to it just to get it into the water, okay? Just to get it fishing, you have to have it transported to the water in a certain way. That canoe back there, I own a Jeep Grand Cherokee 2003. I kept that thing on there all the time, okay? So if I got off of work or got off of school, I could just go straight to the river and have my boat in the river in literally 30 seconds, okay? Just throw all my gear in there and go, okay? There's not really any boats out there that you can buy that cheap and be able to do that, okay? Now, granted, if you buy a trolling motor or if you buy things that help you, you know, obviously propulsion and helping you get, you know, to spots you want to fish, or just having to add like modifications like me, I have a Scotty mount kit that allows me to anchor from the front and not from the back. I don't have to tie off, and I can adjust how much string I give it to then give me more accessibility. As that's what we're also going to talk about, is accessibility. But in the portability aspect, guys, I can throw this on the back of my car and just go, okay? When I get to the river, unstrap it, I take it down, I take it off of the car, and I literally just throw it on my back, and I just carry it to where I'm going to take it, and then I go back to my car, and I grab all the stuff I'm going fishing with and put it in there. It takes me 10 minutes, lock the car, get back in the canoe, and we're ready to go, ready to roll, okay? There's just, especially in places where you're looking at low or just slim to none boat access, You're looking at trying to go through the woods. You're looking at trying to fish private areas. It's just not accessible by the big boats, and even some kayaks. Some kayaks are just so heavy, you just can't move them with you just regular stuff. But you can buy a cheap $100, wheel kit with this thing, put a strap on it. And I didn't do that for this boat. That's part of the reason why it's messed up. But it just allows you to go anywhere and do anything. I can fish the lakes, I can fish the rivers, I can fish ponds, I can fish everything that another boat can fish, but I can all do it in just one vessel, okay? So that's point number 2. All right, point number 3, we're looking at the versatility of this boat, okay? This boat is hydrodynamic and aerodynamic, okay? So I'm able to throw a motor on the back. I'm able to paddle if I'd like to. I'm able to throw, with the room that I have in this boat comparable to a kayak, I can throw pretty much anything. I can bring a friend, for Christ's sake, okay? The versatility of this boat is just unmatched compared to other boats, okay, of its same size. Kayaks just don't do the same thing as canoe does. And I have a lot of friends that love kayaks. God bless them. There's nothing wrong with a kayak inherently, but for the cost and just for everything I mentioned just now, the canoe does it better, in my opinion. Okay, the canoe just allows you to bring rods. It allows you to bring tackle. I can bring so much tackle on this boat. I can attach rod holders on the rails. I can attach fish finders. I can attach all kinds of different neat stuff that you have to have special modifications or attachments on a kayak. And I know a lot of kayaks have that stuff where you can attach stuff on the side and it's built in or whatever. But I just think for the money, and having the room and just not having to worry about falling or tripping, it's just very hard for me to want to go for a kayak. Another thing, guys, I can stand in this thing with 2 people. 2 of us can stand up together and fish, okay? Not many boats you could do that for, a plastic boat or a kayak. It's not many you can stand in with 2 people. I know they just come out with the XTR 130 kayak that allows you to do that, but to me, guys, it just looks like a glorified boat, in my opinion. I just don't think you should call that a kayak. I think a canoe does everything that boat does and better, okay? And that's really point number 3 is the versatility of this boat. You don't have it with any of these other boats. All right, guys, point number 4, low maintenance, okay? Low maintenance is important because you're looking at, winterizing boats, or you're looking at changing the oil in a motor, or you're looking at just general maintenance. It's an aggravation. Boats are not something we need in our life. It's just something that we own and we have to take care of, or they go bad. A canoe is not one of those boats where you have to give it a lot of maintenance. Okay, I will say the only kind of maintenance you'll have to do on a boat like this, if you want to save the plastic. Okay, I bought this boat off a guy that let it sit in his backyard, and the sun has just destroyed the plastic, so I have to do some work to fix that. But it doesn't take a long time, guys. It's just a process that you have to go through. But if you guys put some UV protected on it, or you put it in the shade, or you just put it inside, you won't have to do any maintenance on these boats, guys. There's no maintenance required. Okay, kayaks, same thing. I like kayaks for low maintenance, but canoes just do everything a kayak does and just better. Okay, it's just one of the things I enjoy having with these boats. Just I don't have to sit there and work on it. Okay, if I want to add mods, then yeah, it's required for any boat, but just general maintenance on this boat is just non-existent. Okay, so that's that point. And point number 5, okay, we're looking at the portability, versatility, even the maintenance part of it. Guys, this boat is smaller than most boats, okay, and you can paddle it. You can throw a trolling motor on the back of it. Hell, you can even throw an outboard if you want to, a mud motor if you want to. These boats take them all, okay? Obviously, you can't go over 15 horsepower or anything crazy like that, but, you can still put a motor on the back of this thing. But the reason I like a canoe over other boats, like a bigger boat, is it's stealthy, okay? If I'm fishing beds, or if I'm just around fish that are just really finicky, or it's clear water, I'll take a canoe over a bigger boat, or a kayak over a bigger boat, because I know I can sneak up on those fish and I don't have to have a motor in the water either. I can just paddle, slowly drifting around and just slowly hitting these fish. They don't even know you're there sometimes. And I say that fish are very smart, but I don't give them too much credit, guys. They're just fish, okay? But when you look at some of the lakes, those fish are literally adjusted Okay, they're literally adjusted to hearing the sonar pings and the outboard motors ripping around and running across the water, the trolling motors that are going this direction, that direction, behind, front, spot lock, all this crazy stuff that they have on boats nowadays. Those lake fish are just so attuned and they understand it, and it actually makes the bigger fish run off a lot of times because they're just so used to it. Like I said, I don't give fish a lot of credit, but in places like rivers or ponds, running loud motors or even trolling motors can jeopardize your fishing. Okay, it just makes it very difficult because those fish are not used to that. It spooks them very fast. But a canoe, you can come up into these backwater coves, you can come into, maybe some dams and stuff, and, find some beds and just fish them. And you don't have to have any of these crazy boats. You got it right here, okay? So it's just a stealthy way of getting on fish. It's a very eco-friendly boat. You're not just discharging oil into the lake or wherever you're fishing. It's very eco-friendly, which is another thing I like about it, but not a big point. I just really like a canoe for the stealthy aspect of it. So point number 6, guys, I don't know if this is obvious, maybe people don't really realize it, but this thing keeps you in shape, okay? Whether it be portaging it to the river or the lake or the pond, or throwing it on top of the car, or just basically moving the thing is a fitness thing. It takes a lot of work out of you to do this. It's not something I suggest older people try to do, because it does take a lot of strength. It does take a lot of, moving around and just moving at places. It just requires people to have to work. And a lot of people don't like to do that nowadays, I understand. But part of the reason why I'm still in shape and my metabolism is still high is because I carried my swimming and all the other sports I ever did into fishing. So I was able to get a boat like this and just paddle it wherever I wanted to go. Same thing with the kayak. It's got the fitness aspect to it that other boats just don't have. This boat is harder to paddle than a kayak. I understand that, but that gives it that fitness ability that you don't have with other kayaks in retrospect, okay? So that's number, I guess, 6. Next point, guys, is the ability to bring a fishing partner or a friend, okay? It's very important to a lot of people that they can share some memories with others, okay? In a kayak, unless you have a buddy that fishes with you, or you have a buddy that, knows how to fish, most of them aren't going to own a kayak. And most people just don't care to fish out of a small boat like that if they have never went fishing. I've taken people on this boat that have never picked up a fishing rod, and they've had a blast. Just sitting in the boat and being able to see everything, guys, it's something that they don't get to experience. This boat has allowed me to do that. And hell, I know a guy that guides on the river that I fish a lot out of a canoe, okay? It's completely doable. Canoes are great boats, okay? They allow you to bring friends, bring family if you like. Brought my dad on my boat one time. Just a lot of memories you can make on a boat like this. It's just, a lot of people sleep on it. I don't really understand why, but with the plethora of options in the fishing market, it's hard to get overwhelmed with things. So I just want to bring that into my next point, is simplicity, okay? A lot of people think that you need a, forward-facing sonar unit. Some people think that you need all these electronics, and they certainly help you find fish, and they certainly help you navigate the water without getting your prop all messed up. And there's just a lot of benefits to having those mods, but those things can come later, guys. I'm not saying I'm a forward-facing sonar hater. I'm not saying that, electronics are bad. But what I am saying is that these vessels are very simple, okay? You can use a lot of old techniques on these vessels, and they still work very well, because a lot of the waters that you fish are not fished like they are on the lakes. I don't usually take this boat on the lake, guys. I have another boat that I take on the lake. It's a bigger John boat. It's got a foot control trolling motor on the front and just an outboard motor on the back. Keep it real simple. I'm a very simple guy. I don't like to overcomplicate things. Okay, so then that's what I really wanted to put across on YouTube with the canoe thing. Why I think this boat is the best boat you can buy with your money, and why you shouldn't really mess around with any other boats unless you have the money or you have the ability to do so. But these boats just have something that other boats don't have. Okay, guys? There's just a lot of things that you will not experience in other boats that you will in a canoe. And I can't really explain it. You just kind of have to do it. But yeah, it's a simplicity aspect of it. These boats have been used for thousands of years. It isn't until recent times that we've started making kayaks and bass boats and john boats and all these crazy things, that just don't make a lot of sense to somebody trying to buy a boat for the first time. So for all of you out there that are looking for a boat, have no idea what they're going to buy, I suggest you look into buying canoes. You get them relatively cheap on Marketplace. They're relatively easy to mod. They're relatively easy to portage. and they're just great fishing vessels. And that's really all I have to say about this this boat I'm in right now. Okay, so you guys keep it country. I'm gonna keep it Carolina. But this is what I'm gonna be fishing out of for the rest of the season. So if you like the video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share it with your friends. Subscribe. I really appreciate it. More videos to come in the future. Not exactly sure as to when they will come, but I will be definitely bringing you some more videos, just some helpful tips and useful information, maybe some episodes on the river or lake or wherever I decide to fish. But if you're interested in learning more about it or just tagging along on the adventure, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. See ya.